What, it's illegal to have some f***ing crazy sex in Toronto now? You can't stop me, pigs! I want to point out, I nearly fell off the stage, but I didn't. I want to point out I have dyspraxia, which means I was born without reflexes or hand-eye coordination. Although I didn't need to tell you, any of you, that, because when I stood on just what was a stair, I nearly fell down. I want to point out, by the way, having dyspraxia is very interesting because it's a very rare disorder. No one really knows what it is. So when I said I have dyspraxia, I could feel 95% of you go, he just mispronounced dyslexia. I can read fine, you pricks. You throw a book at me and then I'm f***ed. You know what I'm saying? It is. I'm technically handicapped. Do you understand? You are f***ing stoned as f***, brother. Yeah. Put her there, my man. Oh, that you don't see that anymore. Just a guy in a hoodie with eyes as red as the sun. Just looking at me like, this is pretty good, but if you were Doritos, this would be the best. Don't worry about me. Stone guys.
Oh, shit.
Please.
What is up, everyone? May I say, for a late show, great energy, good vibes, yeah? Thank you for being so cool. I'm sorry we started late. Great to meet a lot of you in the line. Nice to meet you, sir, who looked at me and went, do you have booze? And I said, no, and then you went, cool. It was great to meet the man wearing a leather shirt with white jeans on the stairs who just went, you John? And I went, yeah, and he went, be funny, be cool. What the f*** happened to Toronto? Time was, if you were wearing white jeans, someone on the streetcar would just throw a Coke on there and go, you think you're better than me? Thank you, one guy laughing. You're who we're talking about. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna wear a hat the whole time I'm on stage. People assume I'm wearing a baseball cap because I'm losing my hair. Now, I am losing my hair, but that's not why I'm wearing a baseball cap. I'm wearing a baseball cap because if I'm not wearing a baseball cap, I look like a police officer that's been involved in a lot of questionable shootings. When you look like this, people ask you your age a lot, like that's gonna help. They'll come up and be like, how old are you? And then I'll say, oh, I'm 38. And I can see them go, well, that didn't help at all. I can explain, I can't explain how I look like. Well, here's the thing. At least I have a look. You know what I mean? I know I don't look my age. I don't look 38, but I don't really look any age. I just look like I've been through a lot recently. And I have, brothers and sisters. In a calendar year, I got divorced. I nearly lost my left arm in a bicycle accident. I got bed bugs twice. My best friend, get ready for this one, he died. Thank you. And I shit my pants. Since you laughed, let's tell that story. So I'm peeing in my toilet, having a lovely time. When I realize, oh shit, I'm late to meet my brother for lunch. So what I start doing is, I don't know if you know this, but the penis, it has a mechanism where you can push internally and that will force the pee out faster. I did that in this moment and I'll never do it again. Because as I pushed, my asshole went, I would like to go fast as well. So I ended up shitting my pants while looking at my own toilet. Which, let me tell you for free, folks, doesn't make you feel like you've won. In that moment, I learned shitting yourself in front of your own toilet, that's the closest failure gets to success. I then bagged everything that was made of cloth in that room, including the towels. They'd seen too much. I took all that clothing and I threw it in the dumpster outside of my apartment building. Friends of mine have since said, you know, you didn't need to throw that clothing away. You could have just kept it, washed it, and worn it again. Which is a very long way of saying, I've shit myself as well. And it was in these clothes. Now, I want you to know I'm not some germaphobe. You know what I'm saying? I just live my life via philosophy, and my philosophy is this. If something has human shit on it, That's garbage now. It doesn't pertain to all bodily functions. If you're able to pee on something, that's yours forever. Which is how I came to own the CN Tower, and a woman named Heidi came to own me. I'll take you through it. So, I was sleeping with a woman named Heidi. She was on top, I was on the bottom. She looked at me and she said, "I'm gonna try something." Now, I don't remember how I responded. Like, I hope it was something cool like, "Cool." And not what I'm pretty sure it was, which is me going, "Okie dokie." She then hovered over me with a look of confidence. Where did you fucking think this was going? With a look of confidence on her face, and then the confidence evaporated, and she peed all over me. She then lay next to me and said, "That's not what I was trying to do." Hell of a way to lose your virginity. Now, I'm running to meet my brother. I'm running and I'm thinking, and I'm running and I'm thinking. And what I'm thinking is, if you want no one to know you shit your pants, just don't tell anyone. How you get away with this is no one knowing. It's up to you, baby. And then I got to the restaurant where my brother was waiting. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He says, "Hey, how are you?" And I said, "I just shit my pants. How are you?" He's 20, I'm 38, and that's how he became the older brother. People always ask, by the way, they always go, "How the fuck did you get a 20-year-old brother at 38? Well, it's a very easy story. I turned 18, and my dad looked at that situation and thought, let's try this again. Like, my brother is clearly the favorite. He is clearly the favorite. His name is Colin, which is Gaelic for gift from God. And my name is John, which is English for toilet or guy who pays for sex. What did I look like as a baby? I love my brother very much. Very different people, very similar, very different, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a fucking left-wing comedian calling people cunts in a basement. And he's in the Navy training to be a military policeman. My dad's really looking forward to the day my brother arrests me. Not to say I have any problems with my dad. My dad was very useful in the divorce, quite frankly. You know what I'm saying? And I was surprised because he's a very, wedding, marriage, traditional guy. Like, my ex-wife and I, we weren't going to have a wedding. And he went, "What, you're not going to have a wedding? Do you know what a wedding is, buddy? It is a commitment ceremony. And if you do not have that commitment, do you know what you have? You have nothing. Do you want nothing, pal?" And I said, "Well, no." And he said it with such conviction, I almost forgot he's divorced 3 times. If you've never met someone who's been divorced 3 times, just picture someone who had half their stuff taken away 3 times. He's like a minimalist with a lot of baggage. Very good. What's going on? Someone trying to get in? Everything okay, Tim? Yeah, it's fine. See how much I'm doing. Oh, I got a text from God. It said, "You're doing great." I gotta say this. You guys are a lovely level of intoxicated, because I just said I got a text from God, and you guys didn't react to that like it was a joke. You all just went, "Cool." The easy availability of edible marijuana has really changed what a nighttime is as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, time was you guys would be like these 4 fucking sperms. You know what I mean? Just all teed up on liquor. You know what I mean? The 2 smart ones have shut the fuck up. The 2 bold ones are like, yeah, talk to us. Girls like it when you draw attention to themselves, right, girls? And all the girls are going, "We like the quiet ones." I don't even know how I got into that. Tim, who's that guy at the door?
The guy in charge, he wants to know when everybody's leaving.
He wants to know when everyone's leaving. We're never leaving! No.
That's the elevator guy.
That's the elevator guy?
He doesn't know if he's going to get paid or not.
The elevator guy? I gotta tell you, that exactly makes sense given this building. You know what I mean? There was just something about you get in that elevator and you're like, there's some shady shit going on here. Like I don't want to be rude, but as soon as I walked in, I'm like, a Portuguese man has smoked here today. Like a guy saying to someone, buddy, can't do it. You know what I mean? Like that energy has specific, like in the stairwell, a guy, bad breath, great cologne, smoking, just, you think, like sense, like the best declarative statement, like, I'm in the restaurant industry. And then you're like, what? And then you're like, well, you're a franchise owner of a Tim Hortons, and it's really your mom's. You know what I mean? Good. I lost you again. We're gonna do a hot five, and then we're all gonna leave. And if there's the guy is still in the elevator, he got paid. And if he didn't, well, then I'm driving it. I wonder if we should get the drunken Irish dude to drive the elevator, although he's probably drunk. Is that illegal? Okay, good. I'm gonna close. You. How drunk is the Scottish guy that the Scottish guy asked the Irish guy, who's the drunken Irish guy? I'm gonna say this to the both of you. Where the fuck is the drunken Irish guy? Where are you going? And where are you going? Oh man, your kids are gonna be dumb. I'm gonna say that. Oh. They are going to be excellent athletes. You tell them, enjoy the years between 12 and 18, because as soon as critical thinking is part of the plan, they are in fucking trouble. You know what I mean? I don't drink anymore, brother. But thank you very much for offering it. I do appreciate it. I understand I come across like a real beer dude. You know what I mean? But, yeah. All right. It's interesting. People assume I'm confident. I'm confident up here because, like, if any of you get on the stage, I can be like, security! But I'm not a confident guy. I'm just tall. That's the problem. Like, I'm not confident. And I think part of it is, like, education in this country in the 90s was really fucking weird. Like, I received no sex ed whatsoever. I don't know if you guys went to school in the fucking 90s in Ontario, but our sex ed wasn't like, here's the penis, here's the vagina. Our sex ed was a gym teacher who was given a box, pens, and paper. Do you fucking remember this? And then we could ask him any question we wanted for one day. Spoiler alert, 'twas not the font of information promised. I remember two questions. One was, sir, can we give you a bukkake? The answer is tattooed on my brain. No, and that is misspelled. The second one, I don't actually remember the question. All I remember is it was about, a woman was asking about her period, and I just remember the gym teacher stood at the front of the auditorium, crushing the question in his hand, going, periods have nothing to do with sex. Don't bring them up again. They are disgusting. Could not agree more. Let's unpack what he just said. He should have said, I'm a gym teacher. I barely know what the period is at the end of a sentence. Gentlemen, just a word. A woman's menstrual cycle is not disgusting. It is a beautiful celebration of the fact you are not a father for another 28 days. I don't understand, by the way, the whole puritanical bent of stop teaching people about their bodies. If you don't teach us about sex, that's not going to stop us from fucking. Sex is like food. You don't teach me how to cook, that doesn't stop me from eating. It just means what's for dinner is going to be weird. What's that? Have I fucked a watermelon? Of course. Now. And I ended up having sex with people, you know what I mean? I hit university, I was the Hugh Hefner of Concordia, you know what I mean? That's right, I had sex with 2 women over the space of 4 years. Yeah. Long game, you know what I mean? Yeah. I remember when I had sex with the second one, right? The condom burst. Now, it may have because of the condom burst. Now, that may have because of, blah, blah, blah. The condom burst. Now, it could have because, why did the condom burst? Why indeed did the condom burst? Could the condom have burst because of the weight of my cum, or because I was so nervous about getting the condom on quickly, I stretched it out on my foot before she arrived? We'll never know. Alistair, I've broken the curtain. I mean, Moses parted the Red Sea. John Hastings parted the Black Curtains. Yeah, that's what that deserved. So next morning, after I fucking spaffed huge inside her puss, right? Yeah. I knew exactly who that was for. Yeah. There's something about your accent saying good stuff that sounds really dirty. You know what I mean? Like, good stuff. And I'm like, you're congratulating me on a farmer sneeze. No. So she said to me the next morning, she said, oh, we gotta go get the morning after pill. Now at the time, I didn't know what that was, but I didn't want her to know. So I tried to play it cool. So I was just like, oh yeah, I've taken that a lot. We went to the pharmacy. The pharmacist tried to moralize to me. Like we bought it, and then he just grabbed my arm and he just went, are you aware of what's about to happen in that young woman's body thanks to your irresponsibility? And then I just said, no. My gym teacher never told me.
I was taking an Uber. I used to ride a bike a lot. I don't look good on a bike. Like, oh my God, you must look great on a bicycle. It's mostly because you're in the front row, but I stand by that. I gotta be honest, like you coming out of whatever condo in Liberty Village you own, and I know you're one of those bastards that probably brought it like at the right time. You bought in at 2011, and you're gonna sell in a year for $8.5 billion. For those of you at home, that joke was very good. Now, maybe look at you. You know what I'm saying? You on a bike, me on a bike, very different looks. You know what I mean? I see you on a bike, I assume you're just off to teach blind kids about graphic design. You see me on a bike, you don't think I'm about to exercise. You just assume I got caught drinking and driving so many times. I now have to ride a bike. Here's the interesting thing about being a cyclist. If you tell someone, oh, I ride a bike, their first question is, oh, have you ever been hit by a car? And the answer is, a bunch of times. Here's my favorite of those stories. I was cycling through Los Angeles. I was going down a hill on Western, and as I was cycling, my handlebars snapped in two. Now, I don't know if any of you have had the handlebar become handlebars before. But it's such a jarring moment. I didn't even think, oh, I'm gonna die. All I thought was, should have worn the helmet today. Now I can see a couple of faces that went from on my side to, you got what you deserve. But you have to understand, brothers and sisters, I don't have a normal sized head. My head is an 8.5. I appreciate that there's a silence in here as the majority of you going, men's hats have sizes? Yeah, that's right. And do you want to know when 8.5 hit the market? December of 2016. It took the Americans electing Donald Trump for someone in the hat industry to go, we're going to need bigger hats. And helmet technology has not caught up. So I used to just jam a fucking helmet on my head and go for it. And I was stopped. I was actually stopped when I was living here in Toronto. I was stopped. I used to live in Kensington Market, and I was cutting through the parking lot of the hospital that's on Dundas and Bathurst. As I was cutting through, a doctor yelled, "Hey, I need to talk to you!" Now, I don't know if you have ever been catcalled by a medical professional, but it doesn't make you feel healthy. I assumed I had cancer on my back that was visible to the naked eye. He walked over, I was awkwardly just stood there on a bicycle like this. He walked over and he went, "You should not be wearing that helmet." And I was like, "What? Why?" And he went, "The way it's appointed on your skull, if you come into impact with anything, it is not going to protect your skull, it is going to smash your skull." And then I said, "So I shouldn't wear a helmet?" And then he said, "Well, it's your body," and then went back to his cigarette. So I gotta tell you, when the handlebar snapped, I was truly like, well, wonder what happens next. The ground. I went to the ground. I'm laying in the ground. My bicycle, no longer a vehicle, now was just entangled around my legs. This entire side of my body was smashed. The shoulder was later surgically repaired. All sorts of stuff happened. And in that moment, I was like, oh God, the ordeal is over. And then I remember I just cast my eyes back up the hill, and there was a bus coming at such a rate of speed. I knew instantly, he doesn't know I'm down here. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced near death, but I found it to be a bit of a letdown. I was expecting for my life to flash before my eyes. Not even, and I've lived quite a life, but not even a crazy memory, just a simple memory, like going on a hike with my friend Chris the day after we graduated high school, and we're by Mud Lake outside of Ottawa, where I'm from, and we're heading over to Sunset Ridge, and as we're heading up the hill, Chris turned to me, and it looked like he really needed to get something off his chest, and he just went, "Now, John, did you know I could suck my own dick?" And I remember as we were climbing the hill, I said to Chris, "I did not know that, and I don't believe you." And then, as the sun set, I watched a man suck his own dick. Sometimes when the sunset's particularly beautiful, I can still hear it. He's gonna try it right now. I'm gonna say this to the camera, guys. If you did not get that, you're all fired. That interaction right there. Enjoy your pee, brother. Fuck yeah. See y'all on TikTok. So I'm just laying on the fucking ground, just waiting for something to fucking relieve the fucking pain, anxiety, and concern I'm feeling. Just going, well, this is how I'm gonna die. I guess I failed in my mission in life. My mom is gonna be at my funeral. And then a stranger just ran into the street, dragged me out of the road onto the sidewalk. And as he was doing it, the bus just fucking slammed on the brakes, suddenly realizing what was going on. And I could feel the bus halt right in front of my body, a foot away from my prone body as I'm being dragged onto the sidewalk. I get to the sidewalk, and then this man, this hero, this reason I am on stage with you tonight, he got on the bus and the bus drove away. Called a friend and he drove me to the hospital. Got there, got surgery, all sorts of things. Most of the physical things are done. My main sort of mental remainder is I have post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the accident. Luckily, if you don't know what PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder is, it's if something will happen that reminds me of the accident, and that it will trigger all of the sensations I felt in the moment of the accident. Now, luckily, my triggers are very rare things for being here in Toronto. They're just traffic, wind, and people. Everyone leave right now! No, I'm in therapy. My therapist has helped me through it. So I have a therapy for it. It's very strange. So how you deal with PTSD is you have to confront it in a limited way. And how that has manifested itself is I have a longboard. For those of you that don't know what a longboard is, it's a skateboard for people that should know better. And what I do is I stand on the skateboard at skate parks, and I shimmy, and I allow the wind to flow over my skin, and I look at the people, and I try to not freak the fuck out. And I really enjoy it, and no one else at the skate park does. I can't tell if they're looking at me like, this is the worst pedophile I've ever seen in my life. Or they're just going, this is the worst undercover cop I've ever seen in my life. And I gotta tell you, part of the reason I filmed this special in Toronto, so I could tell this story in Toronto. I was doing this at that weird skate park by Bathurst that if you always go by, there's like a 40-year-old white dude with dreadlocks who definitely has said to two girls, "It'd be cool if you kiss." That sort of vibe. And I went there, and I was just shimmying along, just like, okay, you can feel it's fine. And just two bros, you know what I mean? Just fucking two 14 to 16-year-old. They live in Leaside, but they tell people they're from, I don't know what the, Parkdale? Is Parkdale bad still? No. Those of you home, I was trying to make it relatable to the local crowd by calling out two neighborhoods, Leaside being one that's filled like with people like me, that when you meet my parents, you go, aha, that's where the money is. And then Parkdale used to be filled with people that were like, ugh, and that's a kitten that he just put a cigarette on. You know what I mean? Like, it was just fucking nuts. But the problem is that Toronto is gentrified to the point that basically Toronto, it used to mean a city by the lake, and now Toronto means this condo has a pharmacy for no reason. You fucks don't know how good you have it living in gentrified cities. I lived in gentrifying cities. Do you know what it's like being mugged in front of a vegan restaurant? So I'm shimming along, and these two bros, they just walk up to me, and one of them goes, hey man, what's with the longboard, bro? Now, here's what he didn't know. If you ask that question, you're getting the full story. So I said, well, I was in a catastrophic bicycle accident. My left arm was diagnosed with something called bone death, which means the bones are not being vascularized by blood, which means they die. Now, because of the Hippocratic Oath, they couldn't just remove the bone and just cut off my arm. What they would have to do over the course of 15 years is as the bone would break, which it would with limited movement, they would then saw off a bit of the bone throughout that 15 years of surgery. Didn't work. I had surgery 3 days after the accident and then had to wait 2 weeks to find out if I was going to be able to clap again. And as a result of that, I have PTSD, so I ride the longboard to manage it. And I'd looked at their faces, and they were really not ready for that much detail. And I know that because one of them just went with the answer he had like cock lock and ready to rock before it all started. He just went, oh, I thought it was because you were gay. And then this was the best part. His buddy hit him on the arm and just went, hey, he could still be gay. What progress you've made. Strap in for all of the jokes about my dead friend, because we are at those jokes now.
I travel every fucking day. This is how I earn my living is I go around the world telling jokes. So when tragedy happens in my life, I'm never at home. I'm just on the road at a comedy club. Just, do you know, it's rough to get bad news near that many chicken tenders. And I was in San Francisco, and my best friend's brother called, and he explained that we were at the end of the road, and he literally went, he had been in a coma, and he just went, we're unplugging him tomorrow. This is the end. And I don't know if you guys have ever experiencing like that, something that dark, but my first and only reaction was to ask, why are we waiting until tomorrow? And then his brother beautifully responded with, that was my question as well. And he went, the guy that does it, he went home for the day. I gotta tell you, I've thought a lot about that guy. I think that guy has the best life. What an amazingly easy job. What are the consequences in his world? What happens when he fucks up? Oh, Rick, how was your day? Rough one today. 3 people lived. Now, I don't know everyone's age in here. I'm 38. 38 is old enough that I don't take public transport from airports anymore. I get in an Uber. I can't afford it. I don't fucking care. I ordered an Uber. I am minutes away from a breakdown. I get into the Uber. As I'm getting in the Uber, the fucking driver, I got bad luck with Uber drivers. This guy just went, hey, seatbelt on, right away. And I clicked in my seatbelt, and as soon as I did, I just burst into fucking tears. I just scream cried. We hit traffic. We were in that car for an hour and 10 minutes, and I didn't stop crying once. I want to point out, this woman gets it, because when I said I cried for an hour and 10 minutes, she didn't laugh. She bowed to me like the student has become the master. That was fucking awesome, miss. May I say, you seem like someone that could really cry efficiently in public. You know what I mean? And that is an absolute compliment. I guarantee there's not shrieks or wails, just that very powerful, confident stance, just wet cheeks. Just, and if someone asks, you just go, not now. You know what I'm saying? The way I cry, it's a, You see me crying, you don't think, that man needs help. You see me crying, and you just think, we're gonna need some help. We arrive at my hotel after an hour of 10 minutes of me scream crying and him trying to drown it out by adjusting the radio station. We get to the hotel, he turns the car off, he turns around, he looks at me and he just goes, you didn't have to put on your seatbelt if it was gonna be that big of a deal.
So I arrive at my best friend's funeral. I'm planning. I'm supposed to be the pallbearer. I'm getting ready. You know what I mean? My best friend's brother runs up to me. He looks at me and he goes, "Look, I was supposed to tell Larry that he was doing the eulogy. I forgot to tell Larry. I'm gonna need you to do the eulogy. You got 5 minutes." Now, I did not want to have to improvise a eulogy for someone that I love deeply, that was very much impacted on my life, made me the man that I am today. But also, he deserved a eulogy. Someone has to give it to him. I don't know if you've ever been to a funeral where there's no eulogy, but you leave the funeral thinking, what a fucking prick that guy must have been. Everyone gets a eulogy. I've been to a dog fucker's funeral. And someone got up there and went, "Look, Roy loved dogs." Some might say too much, but who am I to judge? So with 5 minutes left, I find a corner of the funeral parlor. I start scrawling out the notes for this man that meant so much to me. And then a slightly older, straight white man walked towards me. The worst thing that could happen. I don't know if you've met a straight white man 50 and above, but if you are busy doing something, they have an anecdote that does not pertain that you are about to hear. This man then told me a 7-minute story about a speech he saw at a wedding that was very bad. Here is the content of that story. He was at a wedding. The bride's father got up and told a story of the time when she was 7 and they were walking by a riverbank. They saw 2 ducks making love to each other on the side of the riverbank. Then I was then explained that it's very graphic and intense when ducks have intercourse with each other, because the male duck has a corkscrew-like penis that he launches at the lady. I heard penis is launched as I saw my best friend's casket loaded into a funeral home. Do you know how weird that memory is? I miss Paul. Ducks' penises are weird. Ha ha. So finally, he then says, "Well, do you know what she did to cope with seeing that at 7? I was just like, "I don't know, man." He went, "She sang a song that she wrote whenever she thought of it to calm her down." He then sang the song for me, and at the end of it looked at me and said, "Well, what would you do if your daughter saw 2 ducks fuck?" And I just looked at him and said, "I don't know, man. My gym teacher never told me." What is up, Toronto? How we doing tonight? Good, yes? Woo! Fuck yeah. Just a red coat, not smiling. Fucking dig it, brother. Thank you for venturing out of Ossington and Bloor for the evening. That's right, I used to live here. I know all your local references. Welcome in Etobicoke, Mississauga, or Scarborough. Which one? Etobicoke. I just want to point out the family in the front row all thought I fucked that up, and then when I nailed it, the dad looked at me as if to say, well done.